Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. Now find yourself a seat at their table.
Hey kids, I'm Mike.
I'm PJ.
And today we'll be discussing bands and artists that are either overrated or underrated. So what we're going to do, folks, is, this is the rules. PJ and I are going to take turns. We're going to name a band, a singer, an artist, and state why we think the following band, singer, artist is either underrated or overrated. And then the other person will either agree, disagree, and debate will ensue.
Okay.
So that's basically it, folks. So we're just going to dive right into it. So, PJ, you go off first. Who do you
I'm going to
have?
go off first. I'm going to name it. So I'll make sure I understand the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I name the band.
You're a singer.
Or whoever. Right. I
Solo
name the act, the musical act.
Right.
And then I'm immediately telling you that if I think they're over or
and
underrated.
I'm
And
say
then you're
agree or
okay.
disagree, right.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I should start off big or if I should start off and build to the big one. I'm going to start off with a bang.
Let's do it.
Right off with a bang. I'm going to go with Nirvana.
Wow.
Now, you don't know if I think they're over or underrated right now.
I'm surprised by the choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because there's no possible way that I can say what you think I'm about to say.
Right.
I think they're overrated.
Wow. Okay. I disagree, but
I know you disagree. I know you completely
PJ,
disagree.
Wow.
I say this as
Hey,
someone
never
who
mind, PJ. Okay.
and I like Nirvana a lot. It's not that I dislike them.
Sure.
Here's the thing. Are they a great band?
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Their shelf life was so small. Right?
Yeah.
It was a quick shelf life. They didn't have the amount of time to produce enough music to be as influential and as great as everyone says they're going to be. They just weren't here long enough. Do I think that Kurt Cobain was very musically gifted? Do I think he was an excellent writer? Sure, all those things. Absolutely. Is he the biggest of all time? Absolutely not, because he wasn't around long enough to do it.
Right.
He just wasn't. And you can't be that influential. You can't be that big an act. You can't.
Yeah.
Because you aren't around long enough. And for me, and also, like, do I like them? Do I like them better than Pearl Jam? I do. But Pearl Jam has been doing it for much longer.
Right.
It's the same sort of music. I don't think Nirvana is any more influential or important than Pearl Jam is to the music of grunge. And so I think Nirvana is overrated.
Jeez Louise, PJ.
I told you I started off with a big one.
I mean, I definitely disagree.
I know you do.
They had 3 albums, Bleach, Nevermind, and Eurido, and even Incesticide too. But, Kurt and Novoselic, Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl. I mean, those guys really changed, man, the whole music industry. At that point in time. And I know what you say. They have a short catalog, but each of those 3 albums, are. I mean, there's not a bad song on them, and
there's not. The songs are good. I'm not saying they're a bad band.
Right.
The songs are good. There is not a tremendous amount of growth in their music from album 1 through album 3. It's the same. It's more of the same. They're good, but it's because they didn't have enough time. They just didn't have enough time.
Right.
And I think that makes them underrated. If he was still alive,
overrated, right?
Overrated. I'm sorry,
That's
overrated.
okay,
Yeah, overrated. Yeah, I think that's what makes them overrated. Is that they weren't around long enough to get the accolades that are thrust upon them.
Right.
I actually think the fact that he died so young makes them bigger than they are.
Oh, I think. I mean, sadly, I think it does give it a bit of a. I'm using the word romance here. Like what could have been.
Yep,
I
it does.
I definitely think Kurt have. And with Dave, now we know that Dave Grohl is actually a great songwriter too.
Yep.
Imagine if they partnered up and really started writing songs together.
Right.
I mean,
that's what I mean. There could have been more to it.
Yeah, I could definitely see them going in that direction of like an Everlong type songs for sure. But yeah, I think you make all fair points. I think, however, though, like there's just that small, short catalog is still very influential, and the songwriting is very sophisticated for being very simple. I mean, Kurt prides himself on that kind of writing, but their impact is still. And I'll say this: it's very hard to cover Nirvana. Kurt's not easy. It's not hard to. He's very difficult to sing. Grohl plays great drums. Bass lines are underrated. He's an underrated guitar player, in my opinion. but their impact, and I don't know, man, those albums are bangers, you know. And actually, I'm not a big Pearl Jam fan. Actually, I think they're overrated.
I don't have Pearl Jam on my list for either under or overrated.
Right.
I think they're rated probably where they should be, leaning towards the overrated side. But I'm just saying, in terms of like they're grunge, right? It's all Seattle grunge rock.
Yep.
And I think if you just compare, and again, it's because Vedder's not dead, so he had more time to do more things.
Develop. Yeah.
But there's no way you could. I don't think there is a way that you could say that Kurt Cobain has influenced music more than Eddie Vedder. He didn't have enough time to do it. He didn't.
Well, I don't know. I think Kurt Cobain still influences people today, man. You know,
I think
kids still talk about you know. They start like kids who start to get into music. You know, Nirvana. Nirvana's like.
I mean,
you know what I mean? There's like an energy to them, which I think a lot of those bands from that era still kind of lack.
Well, I think over time Pearl Jam has become way more commercialized, and and again they were never my favorite of the grunge rock bands either. But just in terms of like, look, there's a reason that Pearl Jam is still selling out arenas.
Yeah.
And not just arenas, but stadiums they sell out. And if Kurt was still here, maybe Nirvana would be selling out stadiums.
Oh, no question.
But they're not because he's not, and you had 3 albums, guy. Like that's what you got out of it. I'm sorry you got,
But the Sex Pistols only have 1 album. You know, that's still very influential.
I don't know. Are they going to be on my list? I don't know.
Well, that's quite a banger, PJ.
Yes, I started off with a big one. Starting off with the controversy.
Right. I guess I'll start with this one. This is, I guess, for me is same with you. Very good band, but Pink Floyd, overrated, man.
You think overrated for Pink Floyd? I'll give you that.
Okay.
I mean, here's my thing with Pink Floyd, and I don't know if it's just maybe I'm not old enough, right, to care. I don't dislike Pink Floyd. There's a lot of Pink Floyd that I like. I just think most of it I don't care is how I feel.
My thing with them is like, look, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here. Even The Wall, I don't think that's a great album. I think their best albums are Dark Side of the Moon, absolutely, and Wish You Were Here. The Wall, I think, is just... I think that most of their albums, like Metal, what was it? Adam Mother Heart, even Animals,
right?
They just seem... They're just always just dragged out and boring and slow. And look, David Gilmour's a beautiful guitar player, without a doubt. I love when he sings.
Well, what's your favorite song of theirs? I'm just curious.
I hate to say, like, I guess either Comfortably Numb. I really like the song Fearless.
Okay.
But that's...
I was just curious because my favorite
I like
song,
Young Lust. I mean, those are
my favorite
tracks.
song is probably Money from Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
that whole album's killer.
Yeah, but
it's a perfect album.
Yeah, but
I just feel like
that's the point, I guess, why they're overrated is like because if it's not from that album, you just don't
you're not
care.
gonna listen to other shit.
Yeah.
You're not. And you're not listening to the rest of that catalog. You think Roger Waters is a great singer? No. He makes himself work when he does sing.
I did one time go to the planetarium.
Ugh. Right.
You remember the planetarium?
Oh, yeah, that's still around?
Yeah, it's still there. They're still showing them stars. They did a laser show on the
on
right.
The thing. I heard about this. Right.
They did one for Pink Floyd. They did one for...
I think David Bowie, right?
David Bowie. I think they might have done one for Led Zeppelin also, but I saw the Pink Floyd one. And... I mean, I'm in the planetarium looking up at what normally is stars, and it's just lasers. And I remember watching that or listening to it, whatever, experiencing that, and realizing I'm like, man, this is really, it's interesting.
Yeah,
I would prefer you just show me the moon. Like, I don't know that I need to listen to this anymore. I agree with you on this one for sure.
Yeah, and I know we had a recent episode of, like, the best and worst concert experiences. I didn't really want to even talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. I saw Roger Waters in person, live, like, maybe 2 years ago. It was the most boring concert I've ever been to. It's just, I thought it was at a funeral. I felt like it was just... Every song he does is like a boring... When he does do a Pink Floyd... I mean, most of it is Pink Floyd. There's just like these other renditions that are so slow and boring. And it's like, I don't mind having politics and music, but like, imagine a 2-hour show where it was just relentless. It's like, oh my God. It's like, you lose... I think when you do that too much of a show, it loses its impact. It's, if you did 2 songs... Or maybe all your songs are political, but you won't really... use all the lights and gadgets, to really emphasize. It just gets burnt out. But I think Pink Floyd, very good band. Don't get me wrong, great songs, but overrated band. Hate to say it. Talk about a pretty big catalog. I think most of it is boring.
All right.
Not for me, bro. Not for me.
So
what do you got?
I have my next one, and I don't think this one is as controversial. I picked The Doors.
Oh, I had them too.
But what did you have them for? Because this could be a battle.
Oh God,
it could be a battle.
I swear to God, I had underrated.
I have underrated.
Yes.
Oh, no battle. Okay. Crisis averted. I'm like, he couldn't have picked them for overrated. There's no way he picked these guys for overrated. I love The Doors.
Yeah, man.
So much. If there was if I could go back in time in a time machine, if I had a DeLorean or a phone booth, I think that would be one of the bands I would like to have seen live. I think Jim Morrison, everything about that guy, I think was great. His performing, his voice, the writing, one of my favorite bands. I could listen to almost any of those albums at any time and not be disappointed. But I don't feel like they get the gravitas. They don't get the recognition.
I don't know why. I think...
And the movie is great.
Right. Yeah. Well, Oliver Stone,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think what I had down was first of all, they have Jim is awesome, obviously, great singer, poet.
Yep.
You have Ray Manzarek, one of the best keyboardists, I mean, killer. That guy is such a great storyteller. So he tells these great, he's passed away now, but he tells great stories about how he met Jim Morrison. That was his best friend. And he talks about this one story, how when he first met him, and it was like at the beach, like Venice Beach. It was so beautiful, and he was a talented storyteller and keyboardist. John Densmore, the drummer, he's a jazz drummer, and yet Robbie Krieger. People forget he's not only a great underrated guitar player, in my opinion. He really plays with his fingers. He's a flamenco player, really. But he wrote a lot of their hits.
Yeah, he
Light
did.
My Fire, Touch Me.
Yeah.
And I feel like this band almost gets pitched almost. It sounds weird. They get kind of just pitched. Oh, they're just a blues rock band. And I'm like,
they're more than that.
I'm like,
they're so much more.
They're actually very psychedelic.
Yes.
Their biggest hits, Alabama Song and Love Me Two Times or
So
Light My
good.
Fire. These are very bluesy.
So good.
Even Break On Through. But other songs like Land Ho, End of Watch, Lost Little Girl, Love Street. These are really
There's so many.
whimsical and psychedelic, and I'm like, no one talks about it. And they're an American rock band.
People Are Strange.
No one,
such a
has such
Spanish
a vibe.
Caravan.
Yes,
I think that might actually be my favorite song of theirs, the Spanish Caravan. I love that song. Moonlight Drive. I don't know if you mentioned Moonlight Drive.
I mean, it's the first album, right?
Yeah, there's
second album, I think.
Everything. Everything is just I don't know.
I agree,
and yet
man.
they're just not in the conversation.
Yeah, they don't get even especially in terms of American bands. People think of the Beach Boys,
right?
And, Aerosmith, American bands, but they're American.
Yeah.
How come you don't talk about them?
They don't get the love that they deserve.
Especially you think about that bands from that era, like Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin. Doors should really be up there.
They should be
higher rated than Pink Floyd. That's
I
what
agree.
pisses me off.
I agree.
But yeah, man, they're really almost like a forgotten band. They kind of just
they faded into obscurity. They have you want to call it a cult following, or I don't know if that's the right word,
exactly.
But it
they're
doesn't.
in a weird.
There's not a big mass and I get it. He's been gone for so long. There's no new things, and I don't know, but there's no new Beatles songs, and yet Beatles I don't know. I don't understand why they don't get that recognition, and they really should.
Totally agree. They remind me of. I didn't pick this band, Lynyrd Skynyrd. They're really underrated too. People just know them for Freebird.
Yeah.
And, those are great songs, but their catalog is actually awesome. They're really another American band, and they're really bluesy, and they don't really get enough praise. The rest of their catalog doesn't get enough highlighted for its diverseness. Same thing with the Doors. It's really.
I got really worried for a second because I'm like, he's not going to say they're overrated. He's not going to tell me the Doors are overrated.
Right. So that's fun. That was my second thing I want to talk about was
right.
the Doors. I think you and I might be on the same page with this one.
Okay.
I'm going to female singers after this. So this woman's very talented, great singer. Don't get me, I like some of her songs. Is Adele. I find her overrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
God. Look, there's I will not take away the talent that she
Yeah,
has.
yeah.
She has a very powerful voice.
Yeah, no question.
I don't know how many of those songs you can listen to in a row before they're like.
Oh.
Do they make? They make me tired.
Yes, I call her type of music and other artists. I call it fart music, like a lot of gas in it, like
Yeah,
bloated,
it's just like all right.
gassy. Like you said, you feel tired. Like if you just ate like a big like pasta dinner.
Yeah,
like,
it's like it's
ugh.
too much. I
Brother,
don't know.
you ever see that meme? Like, brother, it's like as you said, after 2 songs, you're just like
enough's
imagine seeing
enough.
her in concert.
Oh, I don't think I could.
You know, like she's the type of concert where you sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go to a sit down concert. Unless it's like a jazz or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's like
I can't
and
sit
I just
down.
feel like a lot of the songs also sound
Yes!
the same.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
You
Like,
know what song I hate by her? It's one of her new crap. Easy on Me.
I don't know that one.
It's like
yeah.
it's like take it easy.
I thought you were gonna tell me "Set Fire to the Rain" because I
I don't like that song.
I
that
hate
song's-
it.
I don't like that song. I like Rolling in the Deep. I like someone
it's the
like
same
you.
song.
Yeah. I agree.
If I
man.
sat here and were singing "Set Fire to the Rain" and you were rolling in the deep at the same time, the
yeah.
music I think matches up. It's
Yeah.
I don't like it.
right.
Overrated, so overrated.
Yep.
Maybe the most. Maybe not the most, but she's up there.
Yep.
I agree. I agree.
What do you got next, Mr. PJ?
Well, I mean, I have a few, right, that you're gonna
Right.
know immediately.
Right. That's
And
okay.
I was like, do I put these people on the list?
Right.
So I have 2 that I'm gonna put
Right.
them together.
Yeah.
Because U2 and the Dave Matthews Band, you knew they were coming out,
Right.
and I have them as so overrated. The 2 of them combined.
Wow.
I put them together because in my mind, their music is not similar.
Right.
Their music is not at all similar. They're of different eras.
Right.
They're of different genres. Whenever I hear one or the other of those 2 bands, I'm immediately like, I hate the people that are at this concert.
Oh my god.
I don't like them.
Right.
Overrated. I think I would call U2 the most overrated band of all time.
Wow.
I'm going to go on record that U2 is the most overrated band to ever.
Well, I definitely
ever do it.
disagree with. I agree with Dave Matthews. I mean, I should stay with Dave Matthews. I think their songs are just. I think they've written some great songs. They're all great
Have they?
musicians. No, but I just
Have they? What makes a song great? Is it ants marching? Does that make the song great? Because that song's not great.
I don't like that one. But
Is
I
it
like,
the space between? That's
no, I
not
don't
a
like
great
that.
song.
But like Crash Into Me.
No, I don't like it.
Satellite. I like playing.
No, they're all the same.
know,
He all has the same stupid voice.
Yeah.
And
No,
the-
look, I think what you're saying has some merit for real. But I think they're overrated. But they have some great songs though. But I can't listen to a whole album of them.
No.
And I would never see them live in concert.
No.
way.
And then U2. I don't want anything to do with them.
What turns you off about their
Everything.
music? No, but personalities aside, you
Personality.
don't like Bono,
I
you
don't
know.
even care about his personality.
Right,
I'm
okay.
never gonna meet these people.
Right.
So very rarely do I say I don't like their personality, so I don't like the band.
Right.
I just don't get it. I don't get they're okay. They're okay. And I think maybe I would like them more if everyone else wasn't constantly sucking their U2 dicks constantly. Everyone loves these people, and I'm like, they're okay. It's an okay song. It's an
Right.
okay song. What song did they do that is so great that it makes them as loved as they are? What
think-
song? Well, tell me.
I think probably with or without you is probably like, you know.
You ever say like, man, I need to listen to that song?
I said signs.
You say that? You've never said that in your entire life.
No, I think U2 was like
An acquired taste.
I think Bono has, you know, I don't want to blame it on him. I don't want to give people a history lesson, but they actually started off as like a new wave band, and then when they came out the Joshua Tree, they were really much of a Christian band. They were actually going to break up the band because of the Christian, views. And then when they came out with Octane Baby, that has like mysterious ways and that shit. Remember he started wearing the sunglasses?
Yeah.
Besides, I think he has like glaucoma or anything, but when he put those on, the ones like the bug eyed, like,
Yeah.
like the iconic one with the
Yep.
leather jacket, they wanted, and actually that whole era, and since then they actually wanted to make fun of themselves in the industry, saying like, oh, these guys think they're, Christian rock band, and after they released the album called Rattle and Hum, which is like they have like Angel of Harlem and like. They made like a movie about it, and they have pictures of like Sinatra, like in their studio. Like, who do these guys think they are? On the same level
Right.
as them, and they wanted to be like, okay, we're gonna, mock that. So he became the Fly or the Disco Ball Man. So he's really actually playing a goof. And I think maybe he's still in character. Maybe now went to his head. But the U2 really became, the U2 because of that era, and because they used to come out of giant lemons like the fruit.
Yeah, they used to have
came out
a lot
of theatrics. Like,
yeah, they did have a lot of theatrics. They had a very big stage show when they would do their tours. I know that.
Yeah, from that point on, they became like the characters of themselves. I think all their songs are great. I think
they're okay.
Since what is it? How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. That has like Vertigo. I feel like after that, I didn't like those albums since. I'm like,
I just
think they're bad. I just don't think they're very good.
I find that they think so highly of themselves that the music that they are putting out, I don't know how to put it into words. Like, they're putting out music that they think is so much better than everything else that anyone else puts out. That's the way I feel. But then when you really break it down and listen to it, it's not that much better than any other rock band. Right. It's really not. Mm-hmm. But they get, I don't know if it's the act. I don't know if it's just the longevity, so it makes people talk about it so highly of them. If they were just a band that existed, it's fine. They're fine. The fact that everyone just puts them on a pedestal so high, but you compare, I don't know, compare U2 to like any other rock band. They're not leaps and bounds better when it comes to the music, like the musicianship, when it comes to the writing. They're not better than anyone else. They're just another band.
How do you feel about Bruce Springsteen? I don't know.
I don't have a feeling on him. Like
I think he's. Here we go. Overrated.
All right, here we go. All right.
He wasn't on my list, but I'll talk about him now.
All
Look,
right.
obviously talented songwriter, blah 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 blah. But like, I don't know, man. He's almost like you say like, I almost kind of put him in the same category as like a Dave Matthews. Something about it, I just can't connect with that. I think that's just what it is. I
don't have any feelings towards.
I like
Bruce
Glory
Springsteen.
Days, some of the hits.
Born in the USA, everyone likes that.
Yeah. But I just can't,
Dancing in the Dark.
Yeah, I like those. I just feel like
hits. That's like
I just can't picture like that's why when you say like U2, I feel like they're almost maybe in the same avenue.
That's it. If you take like a Bruce Springsteen song, I don't dislike Bruce.
Right.
I don't love him either. He just exists. He has a couple of popular hits that are earworms. They get stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna for the rest of the day we're gonna be saying "Born in the USA." We're gonna do that for the rest of the day. We're gonna do that because it's in our brain now. But it doesn't mean he's the best act ever. He's all right. He's all right. I don't hate him. I would be more likely to listen to Bruce Springsteen than U2.
Wow. Okay.
I will listen.
I'm U2 all day, man. Yeah, Bruce, I can't do. Yeah.
I will listen.
I feel like I would just be bored. I just get bored with him, man.
I mean, have you ever heard his rendition of Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
Oh yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. No, I'm saying he has great songs.
Santa Claus is coming. He has a great Christmas album.
Yeah, I just can't do a whole album of
Would
him,
you
man.
ever want? I don't know if this exists. Maybe it does.
Yeah.
Here's a test of someone's
Right.
musicianship.
Yeah,
I'll use that word. Would you ever want to listen to a U2 Christmas album?
No, they didn't release a Christmas song. They did release a Christmas song.
They probably wrote their own. And probably.
No, it's a great song. It's
pretentious. Is what
my god.
I don't even know they have it.
Oh my god. Oh, Christmas, the snow's coming down.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I think they did that one.
They did one of that.
Yes, I think that's them.
I don't care enough to listen to it, but I would listen to Bruce Springsteen's Christmas song every year. You know why? It's pleasing to the ear. It brings joy to the people. U2 doesn't bring joy to the people. It doesn't.
I gotta show you an album by them. Even just the first 5 songs because it's very experimental. You might like it. My favorite actually by them is called Zooropa. I gotta give you. I'll let you try it out. Let you try it out.
All right.
PJ.
All right.
I find this next person underrated.
Underrated.
Lauryn Hill from the Fugees.
Okay.
I feel like she just doesn't get enough people talk about Mary J. Blige, Adele, Christina Aguilera, all these,
right.
Ariana Grande. These are great singers. Don't get me wrong. But she doesn't get enough praise. I mean, look, I know she has mental health issues and she couldn't handle fame and she has a lot of issues. But I mean, she's not only is she a great singer. Like you just think about her cover of "Killing Me Softly."
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah.
But her as a rapper. She's exceptional as a rapper.
As a rap,
right,
she's a dinosaur.
She's also part dinosaur. She's a great rapper too, and I just feel like no one talks about her anymore. I'm like, Why?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why not. I mean, she's, like I said, a beautiful singer, beautiful rapper. And I just feel like she's not getting enough praise. You know, she's just kind of forgotten about. Like, I don't know if she got canceled. I know she said some wild shit. But
I don't know.
But I mean, like, just her catalog of work. I mean, like, you had the food. I think she had maybe 2 albums or so on Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and some other shit.
I have no issue with Lauryn Hill. I don't know that she's certainly not overrated by any stretch. She's not overrated.
Yep.
Is she underrated or just rated where she's supposed to be? That's the question.
I mean, that's a fair thing, but I do think she deserves a little more.
I think she's very talented. I have no issue with her music, her sound, any of that.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, she's probably rated where she should be. I do like the Fugees. I think Wyclef is great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to see if I have a good one to give you here.
My next one I'm excited about.
Oh, you're excited about the next one?
Yeah, I forgot I even had it on.
Oh man, all right. Why don't you go while I keep thinking? You go. Go with your next one.
Okay. Oh, so I don't know what the big turn on is with this band. They're one of the big four. Okay, in terms of metal, the big four.
Okay.
I can't stand Anthrax. What is the big fucking deal about these guys, man? Metallica, no question.
Yeah.
Megadeth, they're very good. You know, they're always gonna live in the shadow.
Slayer is
Slayer, absolutely.
yeah.
Those two for sure.
Yeah.
But Slayer got to give it. But why is Anthrax in there?
I've seen Anthrax live actually. So,
but what's the big? Like,
there's no big deal.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Before you tell me your review of the concert, I know that they're considered like these are more thrash metal bands, but for me, if I could replace that fourth band, it'd be Pantera, baby. You know, so there'd be Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer. I know Pantera's not technically thrash, but I mean, there's some thrashy songs. But I feel like in terms of like when I think of big four of metal, those are the first dudes I think of. I think of Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, and I think of Slayer. Like
Right.
I think that when I think of Anthrax, I think of like did they do a song with like Run DMC?
They might have. Who knows? Anthrax. Anthrax is not my favorite band for sure.
I don't like their singer, like very like kind of very 80s, very like operatic and
Joey Belladonna. You're not a big fan of Joey Belladonna?
No.
I
mean, they're good guitar
actually
playing,
like his voice. I like Joey Belladonna's voice. I don't love the band. I don't think that they, in my mind, I agree they are not one of the big four.
No way. Who would you replace them with?
Well, he's dead now, but I would have replaced them with Motorhead.
Oh, okay. So that makes
I would have replaced them with Motorhead
sense,
for sure. And I would probably replace the first band I would replace in the big four would be Anthrax. I agree. And in terms of that, 100% overrated. I don't know how they weaseled their way into be considered one of the big four in metal. I don't know how that happened.
I can't name
but I've seen the big four live. I went to that big four concert.
Right, you said that. Yeah. But how was Anthrax though? Like.
They're fine. They're not. They were the first band that came out, so like,
yeah.
You know, we were in and out of it because we wanted to like, if you're gonna buy a T-shirt, do it now because I don't want to miss the next.
Yeah.
I think his voice is pretty good. I don't dislike it.
Right.
The music is fine. It's all just fine. The show was just fine. They're from Queens. They're local guys. That's always pretty cool. To see like a New York local band like become that popular in metal is always cool. But they're just fine. That's the only way I would describe them. They exist. They're not bad. They make good music. They're not the big four. If you ask me right now, am I more likely to go see an Anthrax solo show or a Megadeth solo show? I might pick Anthrax.
Wow.
I actually had Megadeth on my list as overrated.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like Dave Mustaine. I don't think their music is really. It doesn't hold a candle to Metallica.
Oh, no way.
And I think that's where their downfall is he wants to be Metallica and he can't be. So, I mean, I think...
I've seen Megadeth live once, and I'm actually seeing them again this year with my brother and father-in-law. Mainly because I want to go with my brother and my father. Actually, Mudvayne's opening, so I'm actually going to see...
I'd rather see Mudvayne than Megadeth, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would replace them also. I think if you want to talk about...
If I replaced... No, Big Four, I would replace those two. Yeah, for sure.
I think I'd probably say that a band like Sabbath should be in the Big Four way before...
Oh, yeah,
I don't understand how we're calling those two the top metal bands of all time. There are so many better... And I think it's just, again, it comes down to longevity. And
I guess they all
start around the same.
Yes, I guess it's like their old buddies.
I would even say a band like Testament is way better.
Oh yes,
you want to know my next?
I can never pronounce their name. Sepultura.
Yeah.
All those bands. Mm-hmm.
I actually, for my next underrated band, had Testament.
Oh,
Yeah. And again, I've said this a number of times for a band like Testament. They've been around for a while, for a long while. They ain't new. They have the same sort of sound as Metallica. The problem, of course, being Metallica is just so big that...
Yeah.
Someone's looking at us again.
Yep.
I don't know what's happening out there. Anyway, yeah, I mean, what was their first album, I think, was the mid-'80s or late 80s, or around the same time, I think, as Metallica.
Yep.
They're a good band. They're a good thrash metal band. Chuck Billy is the
yeah.
love his name. I think he sounds good. I think they're more thrash sounding than Anthrax. I think they're more pleasant on the ear than Megadeth. And I've seen them live. I've seen all of these bands, these metal bands live, and again, I would much rather watch a Testament show than a Megadeth. I don't know why this band just... Their early stuff is way better than some of the later stuff. But I don't understand why they couldn't make it and other metal bands could. I don't see how this band fell through the cracks.
I agree. I think it's just... It was almost like when you had that whole surge of like when you had Nirvana and all those other bands, it was just like there was so many people and like I think they just didn't have enough time to promote them. You know? And then like by the time even Metallica all that time, like I said, really probably grunge put them out of business. You know? That's what it really was. The time they could have gotten big, kind of like had to bring it up Dream Theater. But Dream Theater was really in that arc because they were signed to Elektra Records, which is Metallica.
Yep.
And when they were, what Images and Words came out in '91, that's when Nevermind came out, and that all the industry
just shifted.
There's a great story with the guys who sing Cherry Pie. What are they called? Ugly Kid Joe? No,
that's not Ugly Kid Joe, although I do like Ugly Kid Joe. Cherry Pie is...
Warrant?
Yes, Warrant. Okay. That's exactly who it is.
The singer of Warrant, in some documentary, he says this a bunch of times, but he says, like, when he used to go to his record label, to the office, I don't pick up a check, I don't know. Have a meeting, goes, our poster used to be in the front, like, in the main hallway, the front desk. He goes, I walked in one day, and it was Alice in Chains. Oh, wow. And he was like, it's over, bro. Yeah. And I think so, and probably what happened to Testament, like, that wouldn't be something that had Soundgarden up there, Nirvana.
Yeah. I mean, that's very possible. I just think that they're about to release their 14th album.
Wow.
That's a lot. Yeah. And I'm not saying they're all bangers, but they're all solid. They're solid.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my next underrated.
Yeah. I have, PJ, I kind of have like, I might just kind of ramble them off at this point. Is that okay, PJ?
Sure. Right, I'm going to save the main event for when you're done.
Okay, all right. So, we're kind of short and sweet. You kind of just tell me if you agree or disagree. This first person, overrated, Billie Eilish. Great singer.
The most overrated. Yep.
Great singer, no question. Her brothers, they're a great songwriting duo, but I don't know what it is. I just feel like, imagine seeing her in concert.
No, I can't imagine that.
I mean, I'm not saying they have to come out with a song that's like sexy. I'm not even talking about that. I know she has that. What's her biggest hit?
Bad Guy.
Bad Guy. What was it? Bad. You know what? Yeah. Other than that, all her songs are ballads.
Yeah.
I'm not against ballads. I love depressing music. I have a mix that's all depressing music. I don't mind. I love when I had that feeling I want to kill myself. I want to hear music like that. Not a problem.
I get
but there's like there has to be something to it. You know what I mean? And like I guess. So I don't know how to describe music. If it's depressing or melancholy, but there's just something about it.
It's flat. That's how I would describe it. It's very flat.
Is it like there's no guitars in it? There's no like. Is there a piano?
It's
in
overly
these songs?
produced and it's
no,
flat.
Like I don't. And I feel like maybe this is a critique of. I mean,
it's just modern music in general.
Yeah, a lot of it's like lacking. They call it performance, where it's like back in the day, Stones, Beatles, all these kind of bands. You used to have like they didn't have the technology.
Right. Well, you know what she does when she records her music, right?
Yep. I know.
She records it 17 different times, and they'll piece it together and get the best. So when you get her album, you're not actually getting one performance. So I don't know how do you go to a concert and replicate that then? Yeah. Because what if you're off your game? You're never going to sound like the album.
And she's such a good singer where she doesn't even need to do that. You know what I mean? Like they shouldn't even do that. Like she's that good where she can do something in once. I've seen her on TV do it. So maybe what's with the I don't know. She just doesn't do it for me. Talented, maybe she'll have. She's still a young kid. Maybe she'll change. But for me right now, oof. Lana Del Rey, overrated.
I mean,
Oh
here's
my
my thing
God.
with Lana Del Rey is I don't know if I can name a single song. I don't
Just
know.
slow.
What does she sing?
She sings like video games. She did like a cover of Blue Velvet. You know, she did a cover of Summertime by Sublime. Her voice is like very like smoky and like sexy.
I cannot think of a song
I just
of hers.
think
Okay.
something about it. I'm just like, I don't know. Something about it. I just can't. Like, I hate when people go like, oh, it's such a vibe. I'm like, yeah.
it's
Is
a
there a different vibe?
Do we have a new vibe? I don't like
You
this
know,
vibe.
You know, like, people who I think are underrated, PJ, Madonna.
I don't know if she's underrated. I don't think she's overrated. I think she's where she should be. She's added a lot to music over the years for sure, and I think she gets the credit for what she's done.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, and I think she just. Yeah, I think she's actually a very good singer.
Mhm.
You know, because she's sung all kinds of different songs. And I saw her live about, I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. But her voice, she can still hang. I mean, she can hit like the super high songs, like I seen her. Actually, I saw her do "Holiday," so I sound like she was like very like a teenager. But she still sounds like her younger self. But I don't know. I feel like everyone, I don't know. She's trying to be sexy at like 80 years old.
It's not working. Yeah,
Which I understand. She should not. It's not working,
Yeah.
lady. Do like a Helen Mirren. Go like that kind of sexy MILF gilf thing. But
well, I
think
say
I think she's underrated though. I think as a singer,
I think
really
she's
do.
actually underrated as an actress.
Oh, okay.
I would say as an actress, I think she was great in Dick Tracy.
Yep.
I think she was great in Evita. And she was in the baseball movie.
Oh, I agree.
A League of Their Own.
Yep.
I think she's actually, when she is an actress, I think she's very good, and I think she's underrated in that respect.
I think for her, I think for a lot of actors, it's like she needs someone like her who's not. Look, she's not like a trained actor.
Right.
She does better when she has a better script.
Yes.
She can't make shit good.
Right.
She can't make shitty scripts good.
No,
You know what I
absolutely
mean?
not. But I think when she's on screen in the right part, I actually think she's a pretty good actress, and I don't think. I think that might be where she's underrated. I think for the music stuff, she's right where I think she gets the credit for what she's.
I have 3 more, PJ.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Phil Collins is underrated.
Mr. Phil Collins is underrated. Let me think. I'm trying to think of how I feel about
This is
that.
the drummer from Genesis.
Yeah,
who's one solo. He's done Sue Studio, and of course,
And
he
he,
aired tonight. Mm-hmm.
And he does the soundtrack for Tarzan.
Yep.
And that's a Does he do mostly the old
He did all
songs?
the
Right?
songs. Yeah, I think he won an Oscar for that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that soundtrack is one of the best Disney soundtracks.
Yep.
The rest of the time, I don't know how much I care about him, but I'll give him underrated. Sure,
I feel like people pick on this poor man.
I'm not gonna pick on him.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think he's. Look, I know he's not Pavarotti as a singer, but like, I like his voice. I don't know why people kind of goof on him. I'm not sure. I remember one time David Bowie goofed on him. Like, look, maybe they're good friends. I don't know, but he said like, oh, that was when he came out with China Girl and like some other songs like that time period. He's like, oh, that was my Phil Collins era. I'm like, why are you taking shots at Phil Collins?
I have no issues with Mr. Collins.
Leave him alone, folks.
I got no
He's
problem
great.
with him.
Great drummer and a great lyricist, and he really
He gets a pass just for Tarzan alone.
Exactly. This next one is Stone Temple Pilots. I think they, for some reason, out of the grunge era of those bands, of the Soundgardens, the Smashing Pumpkins, and Alice in Chains. I feel like people always compare it to Pearl Jam. I don't really understand a connection. I actually think Scott Weiland is a better singer than Eddie Vedder and a lot of those guys from that. Even like better people always Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. He's a great singer, but I think pound for pound, Scott Weiland was a crazy singer. He could sing low, high, jazzy, smoothie, sexy, southernly, like a southern kind of twang. And everybody in that band's a great musician.
Yeah.
I don't think they get enough praise. It really breaks my heart.
I'm not like a huge fan of STP.
Right.
And that's probably not anything to do with them
so
much as it is grunge for me, take it or leave it a lot of the time. So it's not someone it's not a band I'm going to all the time on like a mixtape. I think, but here's what I'll say. When it comes to grunge, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll go back to the beginning of this episode.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about anybody else unless it's Nirvana.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Stone Temple Pilots, they start what? 90, 80, 88, 89?
They probably
90?
started around there. They get big till 91,
the
92.
end. Yeah, so like the end of the 80s, the beginning of the 90s. So again, the same. We're talking again the same thing as like the Nirvana time period, right? And nobody wants to talk about anybody else but Nirvana, and so a band like Stone Temple Pilots doesn't get spoken about because the overrated band is taking up all the space. If they weren't so overrated and spoken about so damn much, some of these other grunge bands, maybe they would have had a chance.
Right.
Blame Nirvana for being overrated for why STP gets less love.
Hey.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, STP. I have just two more quick ones. Annie Lennox, you know her. She sings "Sweet Dreams."
Oh yeah.
She's just really your oh my god, your rhythmics. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But I feel like I think she's almost forgotten about.
Yeah,
I know she's gotten praise, but I feel like we have to we can't wait till she's dead to praise her. She's a great songwriter, singer for sure.
So give her her flowers now, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
And I think this other one, I'm switching almost music genres all in entirety. This is film composers, Alan Silvestri, the guy who did Back to the Future, and I feel like he does. Everyone's talking about Hans Zimmer and John Williams. These guys are great. Don't get me wrong, and Danny Elfman and Jerry Goldsmith, and Bernard Herrmann, all these guys.
No, Alan Silvestri, he's done quite a few.
Right, we know Back to the Future, but I think his most underrated score that people don't talk about enough. People always talk about the Avengers and Castaway and is the Predator soundtrack. That soundtrack alone made that movie even more intense.
Yeah.
So praise him, people. Praise Alan Silvestri.
That's fair. I didn't think to go that route and look at composers and things like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think to
go that. I started doing
Schobert
from the classical. Well, he's not classical. Well, he wrote classical music.
But yeah, that makes sense to me that he would, in terms of all these movie soundtrack composers go, you don't talk about him as much, and he has had some iconic work. So yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't have much on my lightning round. I have a few, and then I have the main event of the evening.
Okay.
I can't wait for the main event.
Me, PJ.
All right, so I'll start with the ones that aren't my main event. Kelly Clarkson, underrated. And I have a reason for this. Because
you know what, I'll agree. I agree. She's a very good singer.
She
doesn't get enough praise.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks about her as being an American Idol, and so they don't talk about her much, and that's fine. Like I really, up until I would say the last month or two, literally that recent, have never given a single shit. Like it's just not my kind of music. But she has this talk show now on TV.
Oh yeah.
And she always has musical guests, and she sings with the musical guests. So like, she had she's had so many people.
I saw one went viral recently.
Was the one Meghan Trainor? That one went pretty wild.
No, it was Jeff Daniels.
Yes, there was one with Jeff Daniels.
Great. Yeah. He played his own song.
Yeah, that was good too.
She didn't sing with him, but
no, he just kind of sat on the couch and did it. But she actually goes on stage with some of them when they do it, and you could tell she doesn't do it on purpose, but she overshadows all of the artists, and she's not trying to. She gives them more of the singing time. She just does like the chorus with them and everything.
Yeah.
But when she starts to sing with them,
her voice is powerful.
Her voice is so powerful that all you can hear is how good she is, and how the other ones are really just like okay.
Yeah,
like she is so talented. And like I said, this is new. I really never listened to her. I think she had a couple of hits or whatever. Breakaway, I think, was one.
Yep.
And they're fine enough songs. It's just not my kind of music, so it's not something I'll normally pay attention to. It's only because these clips have been going viral on like TikTok or Instagram that I started to see her performing. And I'm like, damn, this girl could sing.
Yeah.
So I put her as
good
underrated.
Choice. Yeah.
Beyonce.
Please say overrated.
Overrated.
Yes. Look, talented folks, great performer.
It takes.
I don't like her voice.
No.
I feel like she doesn't have much of a range that they promote that she has. Like I've never seen her hit crazy notes like Ariana Grande.
No.
Or even like a Lauryn Hill, like I said before.
No, she's just
I don't really understand.
average at best. The songs are overly produced.
I hate that.
The writing, I mean, it takes 47 people to write a song, but I realize that's because she's sampling so much other music that they wind up getting a credit on some of her songs. I don't
like that the country song.
Oh,
I don't consider these songs country. Taylor Swift, all these other acts, these aren't country songs. These are just songs
Taylor Swift
these are
in the
pops,
beginning.
These are yes.
In the beginning
yes.
was country.
Right.
She's become more pop.
Yeah, but like a lot of these, whatever these country artists, my wife listens to the country music station. I can't help sometimes I kind of laugh because it's like the lyrics are so cheesy and like I don't mind. I'm not saying they have to be dark and mysterious. I'm not saying that, but it seems like they wrote like a pop song and then they added like add a banjo here, add a fiddle, add a an accent to it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a country song like Johnny Cash, Conway Twitty. That's old
there's
school.
There's a comedian.
I just feel like it doesn't have that real true. Anyway, that pop song, that Texas Hold'em.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's really just a dance song.
Yeah,
it's just a.
There's a comedian, Bo Burnham, I think.
Yes,
he does like music during the show. I mean, he would never call himself a singer either, probably, but he knows how to play a couple instruments. And he has a song making fun of country music about pandering, and it's hysterical. If you get a chance to listen to it, Bo Burnham pandering, listen to that. It's hysterical. But I agree. I wouldn't call her new song necessarily country, and I also wouldn't call it very good.
Right.
So there's that. Trying to think, is there anyone else before the main event of the evening?
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm going to go right to the main event.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right. Set my mic up. Make sure my microphone's where I want it to be.
We fasten our seatbelts.
Fasten our seatbelts. Because in our last episode, we spoke about war movies. And this episode right here, I think we're filming it.
Yes.
Might become the best war movie of all time when I name the most overrated band that I'm ending this episode with.
Oh, God.
I'm going to say it. The
I knew you were going to say
Rolling Stones.
You said overrated?
Overrated.
What?
Saying overrated for the Rolling Stones.
Oh, my God.
Which
and I'm
is-
going to see them next week.
I am
Both shows.
not saying that they are not a great band. I'm not even saying they're not one of the greatest bands.
Right.
But I feel, and this is a personal opinion, that when comparing bands, and again, when I looked at the overrated and underrated, my thing was like, who's more influential, who's had a bigger impact on music as a whole.
Right.
I think the Beatles take this battle. And so I think the Rolling Stones are a world-class rock band, but I don't think they have the gravitas. I don't think they have the cultural impact. I don't think they have the influence on music from today. I don't think they have necessarily all that. I just think they're a world-class rock band, a great rock band.
Right.
But I don't know that they have I don't know that all the accolades that are given to them, I don't know. I feel like maybe slightly on the overrated side.
What you think in terms of like songwriting, you mean, or
Songwriting, I mean, like, even like when you look like they're great musicians and all, but do I think that they're the best musicians? Do I think that he has the best vocals?
No, I don't think Mick Jagger has I think what makes him special is like he makes it work.
I think performance, they're great performers.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if you take it just on the music,
right?
I don't think that they have the same. I don't think they're at the same level of a lot of other. Like, I think you're right. I think you said it best. They make it work because he's so charismatic and so energetic, a great front man. But I don't know that they're. I think maybe, if not, I think overrated or teetering on rated where they should be. But I think more I lean towards overrated. I don't know.
God, PJ.
I know. It's the main event.
I think the whole Beatles and Stones thing is,
I don't think there's a real war between those
they
at all.
did that on purpose.
Yeah,
They
no,
did that
absolutely.
to help
They
each
manufactured
other.
that. Absolutely, they did.
I think the difference between both of these bands is, which is really, I don't want to go totally off on this, but like I feel like our Beatles were four dudes who deep down didn't really like each other. Where in the Stones are 4 or 5 guys who actually did like each other. You know,
for a while.
Then they broke up and they came back together.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, like, primarily they love like the Stones love being in a band.
Right.
And the Beatles love making music, but not really being in a band. And I think you can hear that in the music, and
I think when I think of like songwriting,
Yeah.
and I think you think of like Lennon and McCartney. You think of them, like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
immediately going to like songs that they wrote.
Yeah.
I don't know that I think of like as songwriting. I don't think of the Stones. I don't go there for them.
I think part of it is, like I said, it's just like the media and all that kind of hype, and I think you hear like their music, like say song like "Give Me Shelter," you know, Jagger Richards kind
Mm-hmm.
of joint. You know, like I hate when people say that songs don't play enough like vibe or not. You know, they don't have enough. You know, they're like a goof. They all sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's not really true.
Right.
You know, and we know this with tons of bands. Whenever a band or artist tries to go out of their
They fail because no one wants to hear them do anything different.
that, or people don't give it credit.
Yeah,
like their
right.
album Ghost Head Soup. Everyone shit on it, and it wasn't until like 2020 they re-released it, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's an underrated gem,"
Right.
and all this other shit. I mean, yeah, look, we know Mick Jagger's not the greatest. He would even say that too.
Right.
He makes it work. You know what I mean? I don't think John Lennon's the greatest singer. He can sing way better than Mick Jagger. Yeah, no shit. But he's not, you know, Elvis Presley or Frank Sinatra type.
I think
singer.
we could put Elvis on possibly on the overrated
Oh
list
my
also.
God, PJ.
And I love Elvis too.
Right.
I love him, but I mean, I wouldn't call him the best singer either.
Right. No, I think with the Stones, I'm trying to where you're coming from, and I can validate that. I can understand what you're coming from. I think, strangely in my world, and I'm totally going to be totally biased, is that the Stones don't get enough credit because, you know, they're in the rivalry with the with the Beatles, but they don't really have a bad album. Like their weakest album, is someone else's best album.
For sure.
Which is
Like
the
I said, they're a
craziest
world
thing.
class rock band.
And like, you know, like I said, I could say they're all great musicians. You know, ones who've gone, those who passed away. You know, Charlie Watts is a jazz drummer. Bill Wyman was like, I think the guy supposedly invented the electric bass. You know, Keith Richards, you know, is a master of rhythm. You know, Ron Wood is an excellent guitar player. Mick Taylor, my favorite guitar player. That guy's insane. You know, Mick Jagger's actually a pretty good guitar player himself. You know, I think they experimented more than people actually realize. People just don't want. It's like, you know, it's like when you see Blink 182, you don't want to see Blink talk about, you know, certain topics. You want them to be
Right.
goofy. And people want the Stones to be the Stones. You don't want the Stones being something else.
I mean, I don't want the Stones being something else. I just think, again, I looked at it when I was putting my list together of overrated and underrated.
Right.
I really did look at it more from a perspective of like, they get all the credit for being this great, but did they contribute something to the musical world
Right.
that nobody else has? I tried to look at it from, like I said, go back to Nirvana. Like, they get all the credit in the world, but is Stone Temple Pilots a better band than Nirvana? They might be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's just like that was
Right.
in my mind how I put
Right.
together the list of who's
Yeah.
overrated and who's underrated.
Right.
Nirvana getting all this credit for being the
Yeah,
best grunge
yeah,
band in
yeah.
the history of the world.
Right.
They
Well,
barely
you can say the thing about the Stones. The Stones, you know, the Beatles are, you know, they had a short span too. You know.
The Beatles had a ton of albums though.
Yeah, I
and,
know.
And they put out things in the world, the music that did change music in a way. You know what I mean? Like their
Oh, yeah, I'm not
influences.
denying their impact. I think in terms
Yeah.
of the Stones' impact, I think you wouldn't have bands like Pearl Jam for sure. You wouldn't have bands like Guns N' Roses. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have those kind of. I know those are kind of wild bands. They took that influence from them, but
Right.
like in terms of just like being able to play country and blues and experiment, you know, like in their own way. I think the Stones always pride themselves on being a blues band. You know what I mean? I don't think they want to be pigeonholed as that,
Right.
Because they have experimented,
Right.
For sure. I just feel in a strange way. Like I said, not to sound morbid, but like you're not gonna have another Stones.
No, you're not.
You know,
You're not.
And you know, I think say cultural impact. I mean, like, I know people are gonna say, "Oh, Norwegian Wood" by the Beatles. They were the first one to play this sitar. You know, like you wouldn't have, you know, like, but still, "Painted Black" I think is a better song anyway.
Like you had Beatlemania because the whole world was like turned on
Oh,
its
yeah,
head
yeah,
by
yeah.
these guys. Like and so
Well, you had Nirvana Mania. Yeah.
Nirvana Mania wasn't really a mania. That was like
Oh,
I don't know if
man.
I'd call that mania. I mean, I don't think
It changed the landscape, and I think the Beatles paid them. Stones said they said at their Hall of Fame thing. This is we wouldn't be here without the Beatles. They paved the way for us.
Yeah, I don't think they're calling. I wouldn't
Right.
say in terms of like they're overrated and because of how much they rate themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think that at all about them. I don't find them to be pretentious or anything like that. I think when you watch them in interviews and stuff, I think they come across as, I don't know if humble is the word. I think they know that they're good and that they're
Yeah.
one of the best rock bands to ever do it. I think they know that, but I don't feel like they put themselves on
Oh,
that
no way.
pedestal at all.
No way.
I don't find that at all. I just think in terms of general population talking about bands,
Yep.
a lot of people rank them higher than maybe they should be. That's how I feel about that. Now, there is also one last underrated musical act. Potentially the most underrated musical act.
I think I know what this might be, but go.
I think she has changed.
I knew you were gonna
She's
say it.
changed music. She is.
I think she's overrated, bro.
I know you do.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. No, I'm just kidding. I do think she's
Here's
actually
my
great.
Actually, talk about the Beatles and the Stones. One time she came out on stage with Mick Jagger, and they did. Was it "Give Me Shelter"?
I don't know.
Maybe
I've
it was
seen it,
Give Me
but I don't
Shelter.
remember what song it was. But I have seen it.
And Mick Jagger winces because she hits the wrong note. He's like, "Ugh."
Well, that's not her kind of music.
But she should be able to. As the Stones play country songs, man, she should be able to nail some of those songs.
I mean, if you listen to her voice, it's that of an angel.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And, I mean, she is just.
She's another one. Her vocal lines are just in this one bracket, man.
but
she
they're
never
so
breaks at it.
She
It's
doesn't
like
need
that
to.
Smoke. She does little whisper kind of
Yes.
singing and that ugh. But
She's
oh my
just
God.
so good.
we have a lot of blood on this dance floor,
If-
PJ. But yeah, folks. Let us know in the comments if you enjoy our episode. Share it with friends. Tell people.
Let us know who you think the most overrated and underrated bands are in our comments, whether on Instagram or YouTube or wherever.
Yes, please let us know. Yeah, we'll see you maybe on the dance floor again, PJ.
Uh-oh.
Same time, same table.
Have a good one. Rock out with your cock out.
Boys and girls, lunchtime is over. For more information, visit their website at coolkidslunchtable.podbean.com. Follow the boys on all social media platforms. Just search Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast. Now get to class before you get detention.